Aloha and welcome to Business in Hawaii with Reg Baker. We broadcast live every Thursday at 2 o'clock in the Pioneer Plaza in downtown Honolulu in the very high-tech studios of Think Tech Hawaii. Business in Hawaii is a show about positive stories of business in Hawaii. There are challenges, everybody has challenges, but we have business success stories that have passed those challenges and gotten around them, and they are successful despite those challenges. Today, we have a guest. We have actually two guests that are from Papalak, Hawaii. They are a husband and wife team. We've got Kathy Walker and Jack Walker, and they are from Papalak, and they run the company. Welcome and thank you to Business in Hawaii.
Aloha, thank you for having us.
Very
Aloha,
good.
Reg.
Good to have you here. Kathy, why don't we start out with you, and maybe you can give us a little bit of background and some history on how you got to where you're at today.
Sure, okay. Well, I'm originally from California, born and raised in the Bay Area, and my background is actually in commercial real estate accounting. I never had any locksmith background at all, but I had a lifelong dream to move to Hawaii since age 17. So since I'm typically a very visual person, it finally happened actually in 2008. I landed in Oahu and ended up meeting my husband, Jack.
At the airport?
Actually, no, not quite at the airport, but close. So after that, I decided to stay and pursue my accounting career, actually in hospitality rather than real estate. But as everyone is well aware, in 2008, the worst recession in the U.S. hit, and that actually pursuit was cut short. So as a result of that, it was actually, Jack and I thought about maybe it's time to think about starting our own business. So we just sort of tossed around the idea. Nothing's set in stone until one day I just decided to do a internet search to entrepreneur.com. And lo and behold, I was linked into a franchise coach. And I really didn't think about doing franchising, but it all really made sense for me coming from a corporate accounting background. Buying a franchise, there's a proven success track with companies, and this franchise coach offered solutions and companies, and also provided ways to do proper due diligence to find the right fit.
Actually, they do some of that homework for you, don't they?
Right, exactly. Yeah,
So,
exactly,
good.
exactly. So this particular coach from FranChoice, Diane Plus, I need to mention her name, changed my entire life, our entire life. She presented us with four companies that really were wanting to get into Hawaii. Why Papalak? Well, Papalak was already getting 100 calls a month with nobody here. And since this was the heart of the recession, it was really important that we find a business where people had to call us no matter what, basically recession-proof. So out of all the four companies, Papalak turned out to be a winner. We have been in the fastest 50 and the top 20 for the last 3 years. So that we have found that choice with absolutely no regrets.
So it seems to be working.
It is. We're going on year 7
Very good.
as we speak.
Very good. And Jack, I guess you got here somehow, I guess through the airport, but what's your background in history?
Well, I'm originally from Louisiana, born and raised, and I was a chamber executive there I worked for the Baton Rouge and the New Orleans Chambers of Commerce. And then Katrina hit, and I lost my house in the Lakeview area of New Orleans during Katrina. And actually, I went back, and my mother lived in the southwestern part of the state, and I went to see her, kind of, regroup and figure out what my next move was, and then she passed. So, I really didn't know what to do. I was kind of 40 years old and didn't have a job, looking for exactly where my next challenge would be. And I came out to Hawaii to visit a friend of mine, a local, actually he's a local sports legend, Curtis the Bull Iaukea, was a good friend that I always visited here. And the second I told him of my story and that I don't know what I'm going to do next, Curtis, he said, no, you're going to come here. You're going to come here, and because I give you my blessing. You're going to come here and be a success. And I said, well, I'd love to see that happen. But he really had the faith, and he told me that come here and give it a shot, and I'll support you the whole way. Use my name, and I did. I was crazy enough to believe him, so I came, and sure enough, with his help, I got to meet other people, and then a year later, Kathy came on a visit on vacation, and I met my wife, and like you said, here it is. It's 10 years later now. I celebrate my 10th anniversary on the island July 22nd, 2016. I'll have been here 10 years now. So I just, it was just fortuitous that I had a good friend, and that he welcomed me with open arms at a time when, like I said, I was uprooted and really didn't have any place to sit.
Is this the first time that you actually had started a business or gone into business for yourself?
Yeah, I worked in economic development for a number of years, so I was familiar with working with entrepreneurs. My background is I have my MBA from Tulane University, and my undergrad's in economics and finance. So, I had worked in economic development trying to really encourage entrepreneurship and try and help develop local businesses. One of my titles in Baton Rouge, I was the business development manager for the chamber there, so I was trying to help existing businesses
now
grow.
You get to walk the talk.
Yeah, exactly. I went from coaching it to doing it.
Big difference, isn't
yeah,
it?
big difference. And so we, as I tell people, I always tried to give them some business insight, not knowing their specific business, but I always listened intently to what they told me about their business. And then, the thing about business people is that, sometimes you're so deep into running your own business that you develop kind of blinders and you miss things on the sides that you may not be looking for, didn't see, simply because you're so tied down into kind of managing the day-to-day. And that's where I thought I always was able to give my greatest insight was, let me try and give you a little perspective. And I tried to just observe it from the side and see if I could give them any insights that they hadn't thought of, or if they hadn't, not necessarily that they hadn't thought of it, or maybe they discounted it.
Now, Kathy, was this the first time that you were in business? But you kind of had the real estate business there for a while, so you kind of had a taste of it?
No, this was brand new territory for me.
So you actually never got into the real estate business?
I did accounting. I did corporate accounting for real estate investment trusts for many years. So with that being said, I didn't actually realize how valuable an accounting background really is. When it came down to starting the business, yes, it was new. Now the beauty of a franchise is there is a checklist. And that's what I'm comfortable with, having the corporate background. However, with that accounting background, I was able to build our financial statements, understand them, and really run the business as a CFO because of all that experience. So all those years, I really had no idea that meeting those deadlines, working with top CPAs had prepared me for this day. So I'm actually very thankful for it now.
Well, being a CPA, it's hard for me to argue with that. But we've reached a point where we got to go on a short break. Okay. We covered some good background and your history and how you got to where you're at. And in the next segment, we're going to talk a little bit more about the business and and then we'll wrap up with some insights going forward. But this is Reg Baker, Business in Hawaii. Thank you for joining us today. We're here with Papa Lock, talking to the two owners, and we'll be back in just about a minute. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Stephen Katz, and I'm the host of Shrink Wrap, which comes to you live every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on thinktechhawaii.com, and then it's repeated again whenever you want if you go to the website. On our show, we will be talking to all different kinds of therapists, psychologists, psychoanalysts, psychiatrists, people who talk about the mind, the brain, and about different ways to find happiness. I myself am a marriage and family therapist in practice here in Hawaii, and I hope you will join us because I've got a lot to learn, you've got a lot to learn, and it's a great ride. Thanks a lot. See you soon.
Aloha! How you doing? It's me, Angus McTech, asking you to come join us on Think Tech Hawaii Hibachi Talk. Join me and my two hosts, Gordo the Tech Czar and Ender the Security Guy, every Friday from 12:45 till 13:45. See you on Fridays, and remember, let your wing gang free wherever you be.
Aloha, and welcome back to Business in Hawaii with Reg Baker. I'm here with the Walkers, and we're talking about their company, Papa Lock. It's a relatively new company in Hawaii, and it's gotten off to a very good start. And with that being said, Kathy, why don't you tell us a little bit about the company and what exactly do you guys do?
Okay, what is Papa Lock? Papa Lock is a 24/7 mobile locksmith company. We have 3 divisions. Actually, we have 4 divisions. We specialize in auto locksmithing, residential, commercial, and we have a huge roadside assistant division.
So residential, that doesn't sound like a vehicle.
No, it's not. Our claim to fame is obviously unlocking cars, but our residential division, we actually do residential lockouts, but in addition we do rekeys and lock changes. So if you are moving into a new place, you know, you might wonder who else had my key. That's a very good question to ask, and for security reasons, we always recommend that you rekey your home when you move.
Well, and sometimes we lose a key, or we have a child that loses a key for us.
Absolutely.
And so it's always nice to have that capability to
Right.
switch the locks around.
Exactly.
Very good.
Absolutely.
All right, and I guess you said there's 4 divisions,
Right.
and so you do vehicles, but you also mentioned commercial. There's a lot there.
Yes, for commercials, for your office, we can also, if you, God forbid, get locked out of your office, we can perform that services, and we can rekey and make extra keys for employees. We also have security solutions as well. We can implement electronic devices that can, for actually business owners or for property managers, owners, where there'll be some cameras that will actually track who's coming in and out of the building. So it's just an extra layer of security for a business.
Very good. Well, this sounds like it's a little bit more than just working on a lock. I mean, there's more involved, and I guess, Jack, you're involved as a COO on some of that back office stuff.
Well, correct, and you know, as Kathy was alluding to, you know, we work on push button locks in addition to keyed locks. When it comes to cars, you know, the state of the art in automotive security keeps advancing literally every year with every new model year. And you know, just in the last 10 years, we've seen, in most cases, the key go from a physical key you turn in the ignition lock to, you know, it's a fob. As long as you go into the car with the key fob, then you're able to push button start the car and that sort of thing. So all of that requires the latest in automotive technology and security systems. And so it's a continuous fight every year to learn the new models, what the new upgrades are and to get the equipment that allows us to still make the keys for those vehicles. So,
Is there consistency among all the different manufacturers?
oh no, each one
They're all
literally has their, some piggyback on the others, some have gone into joint development. So you'll see like a Mazda and Ford traditionally have jointly developed their security systems. So usually they work similar or are on the same key, but each one of the automakers kind of has their specific security protocols as to how they make their keys and what's required. Luckily we are fully accredited with the National Automotive Security Task Force, NASTF, to where we can get the security information needed to replicate those keys. And so, like I said, it's not something that just every locksmith can do, particularly on the newest models with the most current security systems.
And as you mentioned, it's an ever-changing technology, so there's got to be a continuing education component to this as well.
Correct. Every model year, we have to look at what's coming out this year, what the key system is. Is it something we can replicate? If so, how? What equipment upgrades will we need in order to make those keys? So, like I said, staying on top of automotive security is really kind of a full-time job all by itself, and that's not even to talk about commercial security systems. I mean, Kathy was talking about push padlocks. A lot of those now contain memory chips, so you're able to. We've installed some push padlocks that allow the company to actually trace who walked through that door at such and such a time. And so, like I said, the advancements in the technology continuously make it, it's a continuous learning curve, because the second that somebody comes out with something, the hackers work to defeat it, and so the security professionals who develop those systems continuously work on upgrading and improving them to defeat the hackers and the people who would, try and defeat those systems. So what you're looking at is there's new information each and every year based upon the fact that there's new equipment out there, there's new systems being utilized, and so a lot of it is, and that's where being a franchise is so important to us, is because we have a nationwide, we have over 200 plus franchises out there across the United States,
And they help you stay up on
and we're
this.
able to call them for
Right.
that. For that interface to talk about the new technology, to find out what solutions they've been able to implement and have worked successfully. So
Going to Kathy for
it's
a
a big
second.
information base.
It's
yeah.
got to be a challenge to find the employees to stay up and current with all of this stuff. I mean, there seems to be a constant learning requirement here.
Oh, absolutely, yes. With employees, we do offer in-house training, but we do have to send them away. Most recently, one of our high-performing roadside assistant techs, we actually sent him to New York to get some sophisticated mainland training.
All the way to New York.
All the way to New York, yes. So
In the wintertime.
no, it was in the summertime, of course.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, yeah, he did very well. So he came back, and we got him up and running. So that another advantage of the franchise is having those resources. I mean, granted, it is far away. That's one disadvantage of doing business in Hawaii, but at least it's there. It's valuable to us. When we need it.
Well, Reg, our biggest customer base, and I mean, of course, we have a lot of people who call in direct to us, and certainly those are our customers. But our biggest customer base is with some of the biggest insurance companies in the U.S. for doing roadside assistance and making keys for their customers. And so you talk about this technology base and that we have to keep up with, and really what it reflects is your quality of service is dictated by how well you utilize the technology. And I know we've just gotten an award from Geico here that we wanted to show everybody. It's a certificate of excellence for our service. And again, how you get this and how you get recognized by those folks is to keep up with the technology and to do your level best to service every one of their customers to your utmost ability.
And you do a lot of roadside service. I mean, you do not just, the key and getting access to the vehicle, but there's other things you do too.
Well, yeah, we change tires, which a lot of people wouldn't think of naturally as a locksmith service. And we deliver gas. But all of those services, those emergency roadside services, again, the insurance companies are out promoting, and look at the latest set of Geico commercials. They're out there actively promoting their emergency roadside service. Call us if you get a flat tire. Call us if you're stranded out in the desert. I mean, you see the gecko, saving those people all the time in the
Basically,
commercial.
you're calling us,
And
though.
that's who they send out. But right. It's
basically
not
calling
Geico
us.
who comes to save you. They've contracted with us. We're the ones who come and provide that service on the ground. So, what we found is that to really deliver that quality of service that gets us recognized by those big insurance companies requires you to keep up with the latest in technology. And it also requires that we do things, the Ohana way, the Hawaiian way, in trying to take care of everybody. And that's a big part, and that's where we've really distinguished ourselves, at least in terms of the awards we've gotten from the insurance companies, is because they notice that, the Hawaiian way, the community way that we service the customers is fundamentally different than a lot of their service
And I
providers.
remember when we had a chance to chat before the show, you talked very highly about the team that you have put in place, and it's some of the best people you've worked with before. So
Right now, we have the ultimate, best PAL Ohana employees. Zachary Adams, a shout out to him. He's our lead locksmith. He's been with us for 4 years now. You can see him on Yelp. He is always getting a 5-star review on Yelp, so we're very proud of him. Our other employees, they're all auto enthusiasts. They love working on cars as their hobby. So coming to Papalock is their dream job, because they get to work on hundreds and hundreds of cars every month. And we value our employees so much. We only promote within, and as mentioned before, the high performers, one of them got to go all the way to New York. So we're really excited about our team. We wouldn't be where we're at without our team.
Big shout out to Pearl City High. We've got several graduates from there that are all friends.
Super.
They're car guys, which is exactly what we're looking for in terms of employees. But they all are Ohana, and they were all friends growing up. They each kind of knew of one another, and they've been able to recruit additional staff,
Good.
which has been really gratifying to us, because it kind of reflects that it's a good place to work, because they're out there selling their friends on the idea of working
Pearl City
for us
High has got an automotive program, or
No,
No.
they just happen coincidentally.
They all went to Pearl City High.
But they a couple of them went to HCC and
There you go.
for automobile
Because I do know
technology.
HCC
has
got
the
an
automotive
Yeah, they
technology
do.
course,
Some of them have gone there, and so they've done very, very well, working for us, and we really, really appreciate that. So
I actually went to HCC. That's where I started my college education.
Oh, you did?
And,
Oh, great.
a little
I've heard wonderful
sidebar.
things about it.
In February, I'm being recognized as a distinguished alumni
Oh.
of HCC. So I've got a lot of familiarity with that school and the campus and the people out there.
That's great. Well, it shows that people come out of there,
They do.
doing
They do a great
very
job.
well. Yeah, so that's wonderful.
Well, it's time for another quick break.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead and take a break for about 1 minute. But this is Business in Hawaii with Reg Baker, and we're here talking with Papa Locke. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Donna Blanchard. I'm the host of Center Stage here on Think Tech Hawaii. Center Stage airs every Wednesday at 2 o'clock, and of course you can check out our archives on YouTube or on Think Tech Hawaii anytime you like. Why should you do that? Because this is an arts show that I believe is making a difference in lives. We talk with artists of various ilk. We talk with painters and writers, playwrights, novelists, poets, sculptors, dancers, you name it, directors, actors, of course. And we don't only talk about what people do, but we talk about how they do it. And my favorite part of the conversation, we talk about why they do it. And it's really common on this show to hear people say, wow, I didn't think about it that way. And it's very common to hear people afterwards who have seen the show say the same thing. And I hear all the time that people are inspired by the conversations that we have. So why don't you join us and be inspired too? That's Center Stage on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock. We'll see you Center Stage.
Welcome back. This is Reg Baker, Business in Hawaii. I'm here with Papa Lock, with both Kathy and Jack Walker, and we are talking about Papa Lock and the business that they have. So glad to have you here. We're gonna kind of expand a little bit on the customer service that you are so renowned for, and you've got an award that maybe we can show everybody.
Yeah, as I showed her, the Geico gave us a certificate of excellence. This is actually one of the insurance companies we've been noticed and recognized by. We've also won awards from Allstate and Agero, which is a conglomerate of insurance companies, including USAA, et cetera. State Farm is a participant in Agero. So those are the actual, clients that we service. And again, it's their customers. The insured are the ones that call out. And if you've got the rider on your insurance for emergency roadside service, then you call the insurance company, they call us, and we're the ones who come out.
Very good. And I noticed it says PAL or PAL of Honolulu, and it didn't connect until just now, but PAL is Papa Lock.
Papa Lock, yes.
All right, well,
Yes.
now it connects. Well, very good. Congratulations on that and the other awards that you've got.
Thank you.
So now, how long have you been in business?
We're going on year 7.
7 years. And during that 7 years, I'm sure that it was very smooth sailing and you didn't have any issues.
Yeah. No such luck.
No.
Well, that's a common theme,
Right.
is that it's never as easy as it looks. It takes a lot of work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and you've made something successful. It's working, or you're happy with the success, I assume.
Absolutely.
But what have you learned along the way? Is there any words of wisdom you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, this business running it 24/7 is definitely been one of the challenges. And then, as mentioned before, finding a really good group of employees, we were actually, able to overcome that by finding, auto enthusiasts. But I would say, the takeaway from all of this is what we've really learned. I mean, buying the franchise was really the best way to go because, we've seen these proven models, and we've had the support actually to get us through. However, being here in Hawaii, though, we did get the autonomy to do things differently. We shot our own commercials here locally. We didn't choose to use the corporate commercials because they weren't a good fit for Hawaii.
Sometimes they're a little bit different.
Right.
Style.
And so luckily, our franchisor had seen so much success early on with our TV campaign that they were just said, that's great, keep doing what you're doing, is from what I've heard. So we've done a lot of different things, and they've all seemed to pay off. We have a PR firm. Again, we strongly believe in TV as a marketing campaign, but our level of customer service, when we promise to be there in an hour, we are there in an hour or less. So that's another thing that really sets us apart. How we give back to the community, we have a program called Pal Saves Kids. And this, in the event, God forbid, a child gets locked in the vehicle, everybody puts whatever they're doing aside and makes unlocking that child as their first priority. And that's a free service to the community.
Oh, now, if something like that should happen, how do they reach out and get in touch with you to ask for your help?
They would just dial our main dispatch number, which is 923-5623.
Okay. And they could also go to a web to get that number if they can't remember it?
Yes, absolutely. There's also 1-800-PAPA-LOCK.
1-800-PAPA-LOCK?
1-800-PAPA-LOCK, yes.
And then what's the website name or location?
It's papalockofhonolulu.com.
Okay. So any one of those ways they can reach out and get help with getting a child out of a locked car.
Absolutely.
It's a free service
Yeah,
we
that's
provide.
a free service. So I think it's important doing business in Hawaii that, you know, you provide a community service that benefits everyone. And we're very, very proud of that we can actually do that for everybody and people know who to call.
Very good. No, that's important. And Jack, from your experience having done this for the last 7 years, what kind of advice or thoughts do you have?
Well, I think Reg, the biggest thing that I noticed about Hawaii in terms of starting a new business is that it's so hard to come in at the proper scale right up front. Kathy and I, we laugh about, over the last 10 years that we've been here, we look at businesses that, have these great build outs and very impressive, and then 2-3 months later, the building's closed and it's all papered over for lease or sale. We've all seen those signs. So, I think it's important here in Hawaii to really take a look at your initial build out and to make sure that, I liken it to, best to just establish a beachhead and progress on from there. I don't see a whole lot of, grand slam home runs hit right off the bat. It takes time. It takes time to build up your target audience, but it also takes, some familiarity of the community with you for you to build a successful business. And so I just
patience is important.
Oh yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
You take a company, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, all of them didn't happen overnight. It took time for them to scale up to where they're at now. You just got to live within your means.
Right. I warn people just don't spend it all up front. Because the money that you need to operate is very important, and like I said, sometimes it's better to just start as a hole in the wall kind of place and then build up from there, as opposed to trying to build the Taj Mahal and if I build it they'll come, and it's like I said, you have to be willing to sustain those first months. I mean, we didn't get to break even until middle of year 2, almost year 3 before we started breaking even on a monthly basis.
An important point for everybody to remember.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
You've got to have that capital in place, that operating capital, to get you to that point of profitability.
And you have to have factored in, and like I said, be very conservative on when you see that your payback period and that sort of thing, because like I said, over my time here, I've seen very few grand slam home runs right out of the, first time up at bat. Usually it's been the grinders, the people who establish a business and then work at it, and build it slowly over time. And that's really, like I said, it's something that, given the cost factors here in Honolulu and throughout Hawaii, it's something that you have to look at. I mean, down the road, we're looking at expanding and eventually opening up Papalock of Maui.
Good. I was going to ask about the future.
Yeah. That's
somewhere
what's
down the
coming
line.
up next.
That's our future expansion, is looking at establishing Papalock of Maui, and when we do that, then we want to take it. I think back, when we first opened up, we had these dreams and visions of we'll get so many calls a day, and we had all these employees that we hired and put in place and everything. And then, you know, and then you open up shop and, you know, the first day you might get 1 call, you might get 2 calls, you might just get 3 calls. And, you know, you be prepared for that period of establishing yourself and factor that into your plans, because there's nothing worse than, like you said, the capitalization of the business. There's nothing worse than overestimating the response of the market and then building out as if, well, you know, we're going to have 1,000 people standing in line in front of our, you know, there's going to be a line a block long waiting to get into the place the second we open up, and that's so few and far between.
And that's one of the most difficult things to do is, do you want to go ahead and build up your capacity and then go get the sales? Or do you want to wait for the sales to come in and then build your capacity?
Yeah.
And it's a very tough decision sometimes which one you want to
Well,
do.
I can tell you from our experience that, you know, it's so much more important to build slowly your capacity and then hand in hand work on the marketing side to kind of bring in enough people to, again, if you overshoot on the front end, then far too many times we see it reflected on the back end. How? Well, there'll be a papered over window at that location next week saying for sale or lease. And I mean, we're all very familiar with it.
We
Even
wanna
the most
avoid
popular
that.
places around here will tell you about their struggles to make it month to month. So it's just always best for people to be conservative on the front end when they talk about exactly how big their clientele will be or how many estimated customers they'll be.
Well,
on the
I would
phone.
also make sure you do your due diligence before even opening up. I mean, before we started, or before we actually bought the franchise, I called up other locksmiths, you know, found out if they were really 24/7, talked to other people, who's your locksmith, and their responses were, I have no idea. I don't know who I would call. So
Well, that
you
was
know,
good info because as we found out, there wasn't a name, you know, it wasn't like asking people, where do you get your malasadas right now? And everybody say, Leonard's. You know,
yeah, right.
It wasn't like that. It wasn't that there was a predominant name in the market already established. If you know, and you found that out just by asking the man on the street.
Right, right.
And I mean, for
Yeah,
the
that's
first
why it was really
year
important.
that we had opened up, we started with, who's your locksmith? And people would just go, Fred's, Barney's.
I think I used one
Yeah.
maybe a few years ago. I don't
mean,
remember his name.
And,
you know.
and the fact that people didn't have that top of mind awareness of who they were using let you know that this was a good market opportunity
Well, and the
because
name
people
is
weren't
nice.
readily aware.
Yeah,
Papa Lock is an easy name to remember.
It really,
so
really
that's
is.
good.
So,
Now,
yeah.
how do you, what's your plans, or not to disclose any proprietary strategy secrets, but how do you plan on getting set up in Maui? Because you've got to have vehicles or people that have vehicles, and you've got to maybe even a separate call center. I don't know. I mean, Maui's got to have some challenges.
Oh, yes, I'm well aware of that. Luckily for me, I was actually accepted in the SBA Emerging Leaders Program last year. I'm a graduate.
I'm familiar with it.
And there were some folks from Maui in there, so now I've got some pretty good connections. I have already done some due diligence in Maui too, and there is definitely a need. And because we're such a high performer, using Geico as an example, there's contracts that we could obtain pretty easily based on our track record here.
excellent.
So I think it would probably be a smoother transition there than.
Well, you've got a good track record, and you've got somewhat of a model already in place that can
Right,
work for you.
right,
But each
exactly.
of the, you know, Reg, each of the islands are so geographically different, and geography really plays a big part in our business because, you know, we have to anticipate where the calls are going to be coming from on the island, and we have to be able to service those remote parts. And Maui and the Big Island and Kauai, they all present a distinctive geographic challenges in terms of where people are likely to get locked out, where people are likely to call from, And then how do you service those areas?
But right at the moment, I'm proud to say we service all of Oahu right now. I mean, we go to the North Shore. I mean, there are other locksmiths on the island say, you're in Pupukea or Kahuku. Sorry, yeah, we
Well,
don't
that's a
travel
good
that
selling
far.
point then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
very
We go everywhere. So not to worry at all. Yeah, we'll be able to help you. We won't leave you stranded.
Now, we've got about a minute or so left, and I just wanted to ask, now you had some help, and you mentioned the leadership program over at the SBA. Now, Julie Purcell kind of runs that, right?
Yes. Julie was my instructor, and part of owning Papa Lock is the experience that I've received personally. So, being accepted in this emerging leaders program was huge. I kind of consider it sort of a graduate course that I was never able to take for business.
And it's not easy to get into that. It's
no,
competitive, isn't
only
it?
15 people in the state get selected for this program. It's a $10,000 course that's paid by the state. And it's a big commitment. I started last April and graduated in October. And
6 months.
Yeah, exactly.
It
So
was intensive.
part of the curriculum comes from Harvard, directly from Harvard Review. So I am blessed that I was able to participate that, and part of the plan was working on a growth plan, and that's in place right now.
But one other group I think Kathy would want to mention would be her participation in Honolulu Executives Association.
Yes.
Because that gave her a really big network of business owners and executives such as herself.
Yes.
That really were there to, people who can be relied on, people who are looking after their best interest and your best interest, and also, like I said, it was just such a solid networking group.
It
I
is
was
a
totally blown
very,
away
very,
by
very
how much HGA has helped.
well-respected business leaders in
We're
the
reaching
community.
the close of the show.
Okay.
Having that network in place and advisors to turn to is always a big plus, and it's nice to have that support group around you as you move towards that success.
Yes, exactly.
But I want to thank you both for being on the show today. I wish you all the luck in the world, and it sounds like luck isn't necessary anymore. You've got a good momentum going, so congratulations.
Thank you, Reg.
And this is Business in Hawaii with Reg Baker. We've been here talking with Papa Lock, a service that's provided all over Oahu without exception. They've done a wonderful job. We broadcast live every Thursday at 2 o'clock. We have successful business stories, positive stories of business in Hawaii. We look forward to seeing you next week. Aloha. Okay.
You know what?
There-
That
and
went
there's
into our commercial.
That's our old commercial. How funny.